Hey everybody, have you ever been playing Dungeons & Dragons or been running a game and your players all just wish that there were actual trees that their miniatures could hide behind, or just something that would actually visually enhance the excitement and fun of the game? Then this video might be for you. Hi everybody, this is DM Dunn, and this is going to be Dungeons & Dragons Beginning Crafters Trees Edition. I'm going to show you guys how to, or talk to you guys about how to make a couple of different varieties of trees. I'll show you some examples of the ones that I have made, as well as just kind of show you what they look like on the game board as well. So sit back, relax, and I'm going to show you guys how to have some fun with your D&D tables. Just as a side note as well too, if you guys have been watching my entire series, you've noticed this beard grow from literally nothing to this. I've kind of got it groomed down right now. The wife did announce that it is longer than she likes. So the question now will be is how many more videos will there be where this exists before it's either trimmed down or possibly gone completely. So that could be like a little hidden egg that you guys may notice on your own. We'll find out. So I'm going to go over just a couple of little details before we get into the trees themselves. I have been shown that anything that you make, especially with foam, that you're going, and I'm not really dealing with a lot of foam today, but you're going to be coating it in Mod Podge to protect it as like a layer of protection. And then it was also brought to our attention to put black paint with it so that you already have a black base coat. So I typically do just a glass jar. This is an old peanut butter jar. Put some of the Mod Podge in there, add some paint, stir it all up, and then I just use this Mod Podge. It's Mod Podge, it's just black. And you can go to any of your crafting stores, hobby stores, and just buy bags of these little foam brushes. Because these are nice and disposable. I'll wash them out as often as I can until they just start falling apart and deteriorating, and I'll throw them away. But again, pretty inexpensive, and you can use that on all of your crafts. So those are a couple of good ideas that'll keep you guys going. And as far as paint goes too, when you're thinking about painting, especially crafts like terrain and things like that, you don't have to get special paint. You can go to the Walmart or the discount stores or whatever and just get these little paints. Like these apple barrels are only 50 cents a piece for these colors. So just get a whole bunch of different colors for these. If you get something fancy like a shiny metallic, it might be $1. It might be $1.50, but you know, it's still very affordable to get these little paints. And then you might find that there might be a couple of colors that you use a lot of, and you want to get the bigger version, like a black and a dark gray and brown. So stuff that you're using for like terrain, you might want to get, obviously, instead of the 50-cent bottle, you'll get, you know, I don't know, what are these, $1.25 or something? Still even cheaper in the long run because you're getting more volume as well. So you can do the same thing, the apple barrel or whatever else you guys can find. So these paints obviously work great for all your crafts and everything that you do. Another thing that's going to come in super handy is a hot glue gun and a whole bunch of hot glue sticks. And these are also pretty inexpensive as well, so it shouldn't be a big issue. One of the things that I did with what I was trying to start out with trees was I wanted to have some trees that I could have on the tabletops. And what this is a paper towel roll that has been kind of scrunched and bunched to give it some texture. And then what I did is I got some like floral wire, some bendable wire that wasn't super flimsy. And then I just twisted some shapes, twisted them together, poked them into the actual side, just made a hole and popped it in there, and then just surrounded that connection with hot glue so that it would stay in there. And then you just take your hot glue gun and literally just draw up and down, and that's what makes the bark, is all of the different hot glue lines that are on there. And then at the base, I just got some thick cardstock and just cut out a shape And then the same thing as putting a branch in there. You just hot glue the base of the towel roll to here so that it fits. You can also draw it out to make big roots as well. And then what's nice is to not put a top, just so that when these are all on the table, visually you can still see the game board and what's going on. You can also do this with shorter. If you don't want to do the tall, you just get, instead of a paper towel roll, you just get a bathroom roll and you can make them shorter. So a couple of great options. Then just paint it. I always start with a black, as I already talked about. Start with a black, and then you just go in with, you know, whatever colors you want, different types of browns, and just start painting it up depending on if it's going to be swampy, more greens, if it's going to be more forest or more foresty, maybe browns and greens. And what you see hanging off of here is it's called Spanish moss in this bag. Again, just like your little thrift store, you can get these. And I just pull out a string and hang it on there, and then just put some dots of glue just so that it stays on there. But it just looks really cool having the moss on there. Down on the bottom, what you see is actually what's called sheet moss. And with the sheet moss, you can actually just take scissors and just cut off like a little piece, and then just literally glue it right onto the bottom. Or if you saw my other video, you can just put glue and then shake some of the flocking on there as well also. You can also take like little pebbles and sand and glue on there if you want some of that kind of texture as well too. So these are some great examples of doing these. And so having, you know, a few of these trees out on your game board gives your players actually something that they can actually hide behind. If they want to say they're climbing it, you can actually set the mini right up on the top. Just remember, like, whatever their height is, but it gives them a place to put their minis up on top as well. So it works really, really nice, and it does look beautiful. Now, I did have a point where I wanted to have a topper on there, and that was actually because my guys were going to be running into awakened trees. And these trees were actually going to attack the party members because they're bad guys. And so these are... were they large, so they're 3 inches by 3 inches. So I got some of that cardstock. I cut a 3 inch by 3 inch, rounded off the corners, and then I glued the bathroom roll onto it. Did the same technique with the glue. So you've got the base in there now. And then with the topper, what I did is I got some fills, like fill that you would use for pillows or like stuffed animals. And again, super cheap to get a big bag of that at the hobby store. I put a lot of hot glue on the inside of the roll, stuffed it in there, put hot glue on the outside of it, and then wrapped it around so that it would stick and hold. And then I just got some spray paint, some green spray paint, and just literally stuck it like point blank, spray painted it in there. And then I got a lighter color, as you can see the lighter color, and did the distant shot to add some of the light highlights to it. And so now I've got 2 of these trees, and if you mix that in there along with some of these as well, then all of a sudden the players don't think anything about it because they look similar, they've seen these before, but then all of a sudden this thing starts to attack them and starts walking towards them, which is pretty fun. So first time I did that, I caught them off guard. From then on, every time they see a tree, now like, oh crap, is that actually a bad guy? Is that a monster, or is it just a decoration? That's the other advantage of having these types of decorations on your board is they could become bad guys, just like the awakened trees. So keep that in mind as well. I love surprising the players. Now, if you need a swamp and you need skinny trees because those are too big, a good thing you can do is you can get dowel rods. And this pack had a bunch of different sizes. I've already used all the big ones, so I'm just left with all the little ones right now. And you can make skinny swamp trees. And again, did the exact same thing. Hot glue, put some of the wire on there. I wrapped the wire around the trunk this time, but then just completely covered it with the hot glue, bent it into a position, covered it with glue, sunk some of the moss on there. I glued some of the flocking to the side so it looks like moss growing on it as well. And then the base, I actually got a piece of foam, and then I got like a big kind of like rectangle or a chunk, and then just kind of shaved it off the edges and the sides with like a knife or your hot wire cutter if you have that, and then had this just stuck right inside, and then glue just to make sure that it sticks in there. The problem with these is these bases are actually too skinny, especially for the height. So you can either cut your trees shorter because these are probably too tall, and or you can just make your bases wider to help keep them from being tipped over. Because with these guys, a lot of times they just get knocked right over on the tabletop. So either make them shorter or make the bases bigger and you won't have that issue. But I made a thick one. This is a cluster of 3 small ones together, just like you would probably see in a swamp. Here's a cluster of 2, and then some more singles again. And they're just making the branches, you know, however you want. So again, if you've got these out on the game board, then they look really nice when you have your party. You gotta walk mushing through the swamp. You could have snakes falling off of the branches, attacking them, you know, kind of whatever's going on. So these come in really handy as well too, and look pretty nice. Just like I said, make the bases a little bit bigger for yours and you won't have the topple problem. Now, another way you can make trees that I have done, and Black Magic Craft, thanks for this one, is around Christmas time, and I know it's not Christmas time right now, at least not when I'm filming this, but around Christmas time, the hobby stores always have these little like Christmas trees that are covered in snow. And then the best thing for us is after the holidays, so January, all that's on clearance that didn't get sold, and they want to get rid of it because they don't want Christmas trees there anymore. So you can buy these bags of multiple size trees, super inexpensive. And then you can bring all of these trees and then you can turn them into a nice forest for yourself. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the crazy details, but Black Magic Craft will teach you. So you take these, it's a pretty messy job, but you take these to your kitchen sink. You can scrub hot, you know, warm water and scrub all of the snow that was on there off of there. Do a glue dip, and then you can put flocking on there to kind of thicken them back up again. So there's a bit of a process to these. And then what I did is I got my good old-fashioned white foam that I started with, those bubble foam, before I got into the good foams, which is the pink and the blue foam. But this works too. And then I actually would just cut out a random shape. I actually cut out a hole where the base that these trees actually came on set down inside of there, and then I filled up that hole with hot glue so that it covers it up. And then I used hot glue to put texture over the top of it, just to kind of look like forest land, and then you're all go. And then you can just, again, make whatever kind of shapes that you want, however many clusters you want, and then it just gives you, you know, modularity to put them on your board, you know, however you want to arrange these. So, and again, having stuff to hide behind, line of sight that is blocked for like your archers and your ranged shooters. You say, well, you know, they're going to have 3/4 cover because, you know, those trees are going to be in the way. So again, it's just really nice to add to the verisimilitude, the actually getting into the game when you have these visual aids. So that's just like kind of like a quick down and dirty for a couple of different versions of trees that you can make. That was what, 1, 2, 3, 4 different versions of trees that aren't too complicated. If you guys cannot find the links for those, let me know in the comments, and then I will reply. I'll probably try to post them if I can, but if I don't, just let me know. I'll definitely get you connected to the videos that I used for those. And also, any other questions that you guys have, please put the comments in below. I'd love to chat with you and kind of figure out what I could do as far as helping you guys. So, thank you. And if you can help us, do us a favor, hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. It's totally free for you. And yes, it really does help us. If you do want to also help us out, there is an Amazon affiliate link that will be connected in the bottom. If you're going to buy anything from Amazon, if you're going to go buy, you know, glue sticks or Mod Podge or paint or anything, if you hit our link and then do your normal Amazon login and buy whatever it is that you're going to get, they give us a little bit of credit for linking you to Amazon. It's not much, but it totally helps. So please help us by doing that. You can also help us by becoming a Patreon. It's just a monthly donation. You know, $5, $3, $10, whatever, just kind of helps us out, and that keeps us going as well too. So until next time, have more D&D fun with DM Done.